Welcome to the Worship Keys YouTube channel. My name is Carson Bruce. So glad you're here. We talk all things music theory, gear, industry, and ministry for your worship keys playing. If this episode is beneficial for you or you have any questions as you continue to watch, feel free to comment below, and I'd love to hear any feedback that you have along the way. So let's get into today's episode. Guys, welcome back to the Worship Keys podcast. Today, I'm with Dubb. Dubb just feels cool. I feel like I'm like some kind of MC rapper somewhere, like introducing you. Dubb in the house. Okay.
We gotta like put that in post.
Yeah. But guys, I'm with Dubb today. His real name is Jonathan Wolliston, and we're filming here in Church of 1122, and we had Max on recently.
My brother.
And I know you love Max.
Yeah.
Whiting. This episode, it's going to be a two-part episode. This first episode is all about production.
Sweet.
Which you have, I heard not only the expertise and the experience, but you have the accolades. You've been to Full Sail University.
Yeah.
You've done other things. Let's see, what is Full Sail, and then what's the other school you went to?
So I went to Full Sail for recording arts back in 2006.
Okay.
And then recently, a couple years ago, I went back for music business at Full Sail.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so two degrees from Full Sail.
From Full Sail, yeah.
Amazing. Another guest with Meta AI glasses. I love it.
Shout out to Metas. Yeah.
So cool. And you said they came out with a recent update.
Yeah.
Of new glasses.
I felt like I should have waited. Recently, they came out with another version called Meta Display.
Okay.
So I'm going to be possibly in the near future upgrading to those.
Oh, there's that thing where you control it from your wrist.
Yeah, with gestures, with your
That's
same
crazy,
as Plug
man.
Meta.
It's getting better and better, or scarier and scarier.
Yeah, but I see a lot of ways where I can implement that into what I do. You know, even with, it's funny because my our executive pastor texted me as soon as they got out. He was like, "Bro, this will be cool for pastor," and we just kept thinking about different ways he can use it for, like, sermon notes and all that kind of stuff. So
absolutely,
yeah.
Dude, that's super cool. And for music cues, I don't know if you can use it within Ableton or.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a way. If they open it up to like developers, I think there's a way for like the music community and church community to really take advantage of that with lyrics and chord charts, all the things that you could think of.
It's gonna be huge, man.
Yeah, man. I love technology. I'm a tech kid. I'm a nerd. I love tech stuff. But I like functional stuff too. So just being able to use things that it's gonna help enhance or whatever I'm doing, whatever, whether it be production or music and songwriting, whatever. So anyway, I can use technology to help enhance that. I'm all for it.
It's awesome, man.
Mm-hmm.
So we're filming right here in Jacksonville, Florida today. But tell us, where do you live? What's your street address? No, I'm just kidding. Where do you live and what church are you with? And tell us all about you, man. I know you said you've been married 4 or 5 years now.
Yeah, coming up in January is going to be 5 years.
Congratulations,
married to my
man.
beautiful wife, Alethea. Shout out, babe. But yeah, so I've been at Calvary Christian Center in Ormond Beach, Florida for 7 years now. Our pastors are Pastor Don Rayleigh, and our apostle, our lead pastor is Apostle Jim Rayleigh. And they are family to me. I love them so much. They're my spiritual parents. But I've been there for 5 years now. I serve as the music director.
Okay. And
also I do a lot of music production, all of our original music and mixing, a lot of the stuff that I went to school for. I'm able to do that. And that's what I love about Calvary so much is like they see the potential in you and they really want you to use everything that the Lord has given you for the kingdom. So I have the amazing opportunity to produce and release music and write with our incredible team. So pastors' daughters, they also lead worship. So my worship director, my worship pastor is Courtney Rayleigh, which is pastor's oldest daughter.
Awesome.
And she's an incredible writer. You guys got to check out her music. She has singles out already, but she is also an incredible writer for Calvary, and we're releasing a lot of new music. We have some new music coming out next month. So shameless plug, Sing Praise. We're dropping that in November. But it's just it's a great expression of just joy and what we're experiencing in our church right now in this revival season. And we love worship music. We love worship ballads, but we just feel commissioned in this season to release music of joy and praise. And it's important because that that can really shake off depression, shake off what a lot of people are even dealing with right now in
Yes.
society. So being able to exchange, that spirit of like depression or, spirit of heaviness, what the Bible calls the spirit of heaviness, and exchange that for the garment of
Come
praise.
on, yes, sir.
And it does something to you, man. And so we just been in that wave and that in that season, that river at church and at Calvary. So I love my church, I love my family. But Calvary is just a great place, a great place to worship, great place to grow. And I felt like I've grown so much being involved there and working there. And it just doesn't feel like work, to be honest with you. It doesn't feel like work. It feels like community and family, even though it's a large church. We have multiple campuses,
Right.
but it's definitely a family church. It's definitely a family church. So I would encourage all musicians. I know there's a lot of musicians that play at different churches, which is great, but it's important to get plugged into like the right church, a church that you can see yourself growing in, and you're not just there to, serve. And like, it's great that you have an opportunity to serve there at the church, but it's great to get plugged into the church and serve in an area where you're not behind your instrument.
Right.
You're actually, you're giving back, you're doing outreach, you're doing other things in ministry. So yeah, that's kind of my story. Like, I've been at Calvary for 7 years, as I said, but prior to that, I was working for TBN.
Okay, TBN. Tell us about that.
Fun fact: right out of Full Sail, I got the job at TBN back in 2007.
Okay.
They hired me on as an audio engineer, so that's my background with recording arts and doing live audio. So I was there for 11 years, and the first 9 years was mainly focused on front of house mixing for their theatrical shows. So I got my hands wet in theater.
Okay.
Kind of learning about like live musical theater, and the 3 years after, not 3 years, sorry, after my first 9 years there, my last 3 years there before I left, they found out I do music. I produce music.
It took that long for them to know that?
Well, it's funny because we would have concerts there, and then I would help set up as the tech. I would help set up the keyboard, so I'll be checking the keys.
Okay, yeah.
So the managers, they were like, "You play?" So that just opened up a huge opportunity for me to play on some of the Praise the Lord broadcast tape-ins. So I was the guy playing background music
fun,
for some
man.
of the pastors, and that opened up the door for me to produce music for the theatrical shows. So
Cool.
God's just been really faithful to me. I'm even going into Full Sail. My desire has always been to learn about like behind the scenes of production and music production and live music. But I've always wanted to do things for the kingdom. Nothing against people who do stuff for mainstream. That's awesome. That's great that you have those opportunities. But I've always wanted to be attached to something that has eternal value.
Yes.
So being able to just use my gifts and my talents, for the kingdom of God, it's just been my heart's desire for a long time. So the fact that I'm able to do this, do this full time, has just been a blessing. Totally. And I know it's been encouraging to a lot of the younger musicians coming up that look up to me. So
That's awesome.
being able to share that has just been a blessing, man.
Come on, man. I do want to know the story of how you got named J-Dub.
J-Dub.
Because you're Jonathan Wolliston.
J-Dub is not my legal birth name.
Where did you get this nickname? Because it's so cool, man.
So it's funny because it started off as JW.
Okay, J-Dub.
JW. So J-Dub stands for JW, Jonathan Wolliston.
Yeah.
But when I started at Holy Land, we had a bunch of Jonathans working there.
Okay.
My manager was actually Jonathan as well. So they're like, do you have a nickname? I was like, let's do JW. So that kind of stuck. And then the owner of TBN, Holy Land Experience, Jan Crouch, that was like her nickname for me, and she would just only call me JW. She'd call me JW. And that just turned into a thing. And then my friends, as if it wasn't short enough, it just turned into J-Dub.
J-Dub, yeah.
So it just stuck with it. It was cool, I always, enjoy when I hear people saying J-Dub because it's, it keeps it pretty casual. I'm not a stuffy person, I don't think. I feel like, I always try to lead with a smile. And so the whole J-Dub thing just makes it really casual and just makes it kind of inviting for people.
I love that, man.
Yeah.
Love it so much. Okay, so you obviously know a lot about production world. You didn't just jump into church world right after everything. You took time to learn it in the classroom, academically studied, and then also you went to work for TBN, and then now you're working at a church. Been working at church for a long time, serving the Lord, loving the Lord, I'm sure for a long time. But tell us, for those listening and want to get into production for their church, what's your best advice for someone before we are going to see some of your work and hear you play today, which is going to be fun. I'm excited about. But before we even jump into that, how do some churches approach production if they've never done it before, right? Like what things do they need to consider? What advice do you think they should do? Should they all go to Full Sail or should they? What should they do, man?
Yeah.
What's the steps there?
So I don't think there's one specific way, or there's only one way.
Right.
My path was going to school, but I think the way technology is now, like a lot of churches have access to like some really great gear,
Right.
and there's a lot of industry professionals working for churches. So I think that's a huge plus. Compared to when I was coming up, there wasn't that many churches. It would kind of be only like mega churches, large churches that would have, the capacity to have like top of the line equipment that I would see like coming out of school. But a lot of churches now have like, it's like the standard, having like really great online presence, online
Right.
broadcasting, mixing, front of house mixing, digital consoles, all the things. So my first step of advice to give to young musicians and those who want to get into production for church is just ask questions. Like if you're noticing like the church that you're attending, has a really good online presence, the way they present the gospel through media, if that stands out to you, don't be afraid to ask questions like at the end of service, or see if you can show up to like a rehearsal, get in touch with like the technical director and just ask questions. And I think it's a safe place to ask questions too, because they're not going to shut you down as the church.
Right.
So they're going to lead with kindness. Like a good church is going to lead with kindness. So they're going to answer your questions. So I would start there, ask questions, and whatever interests you, and just say like, do you guys have an internship program, or do you have any way we can volunteer? I can volunteer, and I would start off that way, just volunteering in your local church. And learn, just be a sponge. I always say this to a lot of my friends too, that I'm a lifelong student. So even though I went to school for like technology and tech and audio and all that, like I still love learning new things. So, and you're asking of questions to like the tech directors at the churches, be open to just learning new things, and don't just be like, I just want to learn just one specific thing and stay there. Like
Right.
Be open. Once you've learned that, be open to learning other things.
Love it, man. Love it. Okay, I want to know, what is your typical keys rig at your church right now?
Okay, so I just got a Nord Stage 4. And
Come
I'm
on.
loving it. I love it. I had prior to that I had a Stage 2,
Okay.
which was great. But I wanted to upgrade, and we were due for an upgrade, so we finally got a Stage 4.
Let's go.
And I'm using it as my main board.
Okay.
So all my main piano sounds and my felt piano sound. So that's just my go-to main piano sound.
Awesome.
I have a built-in pad, like a backup pad. But outside of that, I have I'm running Ableton, and a buddy of mine, Warren. Shout out to Warren.
Yes.
He put me onto his template, which is
Yes.
incredible. You guys definitely check it out. But that template has everything from like synth pads, brassy synths, strings, like all the things you can think of. It even has like an aux keys section, so like for your bells and your lead synths and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm using that. I'm triggering that through Ableton and through Touch OAC with my iPad. So that's my main setup. I have a top board. It's an Arturia 49 key.
Yeah.
So I'm using that just to run all my sweet sounds, and like the bells and the whistles and
Sure.
transitional sounds, some stabs and pulses and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then I keep my main board strictly just for piano. And then I'm pretty sure like audio engineers will really love this and appreciate this, but I do my best to like separate all my sounds and not just give them a stereo track of like like all my sounds.
Right.
So we have an audio interface where we're sending out literally four sets of stereo sounds for like my main keys, my strings, my pads, and then all my like synth brass sounds, like everything else. So so when
Really,
it comes
4
time
stereo just for keys.
just for keys,
I love
yeah,
that.
I'm sending that out, but it's really helpful for like even in post production, because we technically our services it's a live recording every service, because we multi-track every service.
Okay.
So when it comes time to going back and post mixing, which I also do for the ministry, I go back and mix. I have the ability to like blend those sounds better, or just take out certain sounds I don't want and replace them. And in front of house appreciates that too, because they have the capability of mixing that better,
Totally.
for the room. So that's my key setup, and then right next to my keyboard setup, I have a Hammond B3.
Let's go, man.
I love playing it. Our church it's funny because it's like a hybrid of like, as far as music styles, it's like CCM and gospel all just like jumbled together. So it's like a big pot of soup. Like
I love
jumbo,
it. Yeah.
I'd say gumbo soup.
Yeah.
So
the jumbo gumbo.
Jumbo gumbo soup. There you go. Yeah, but it's a really diverse church, and a lot of diverse and multicultural church, and that displays not just in the crowd, in the audience, but also within our music. We're very diverse. So, our first song could be like a up-tempo Caribbean calypso song, and we'll go into like a CCM Bethel song, and just don't miss a beat, and it's still effective, and it just ministers to everyone in the room, and most importantly, it ministers to the Lord.
Yes.
And it's our true form of worship. And we're not stuck on like a particular sound or genre, and that's one thing I love about what I get to do at Calvary. All expressions of our worship is, all of our expressions are what's the word I'm looking for? It's honored.
Yeah.
And it's accepted.
Yes.
And I just love that we're able to do that.
Totally, man. Love that. And you only have 2 hands, 10 fingers.
Yeah.
But you have 3 or 4 different key beds that you can reach. How do you manage all that?
Yeah, it's a lot. There's a lot going on. I also use my feet.
There you go.
I have
True
far as like so for organ I use the the pedals, the bass pedals, but also for like my key setup. I have a volume expression pedal.
Oh, I love that. Okay.
So my buddy David Parks, shout out to David. We grew up together, but he is just a beast. Like, he's taught me so much. But even when it comes to sound design, his mind is just, it's wild. So that's someone you definitely got to talk to too. Dave is incredible musician, great heart. But when it comes to creativity and sound design, he's the one who put me on to using the expression pedal.
Okay.
So I use that for like my strings. Anytime I want to swell in strings for certain moments, especially some down moments where I don't want to necessarily just have the piano really carrying the moment, I can bring in strings to swell in, and it really enhances that particular moment. And we really love like movie scores.
Yeah.
So, Hans Zimmer and all the guys, John Williams.
Yes.
So we really love all of that, and we try to incorporate some of that even in like a worship moment or into like just atmosphere music for church.
Totally.
And it really enhances the the experience. So
love that, man.
Yeah, when you mentioned about just 10 fingers, I'm like, well, I do use my feet too.
Oh, there you go. That's not just 10 fingers.
Yeah. So I use everything.
Crazy, dude. Crazy. Yeah, well, let's see some of what you're doing for production, man.
Yeah,
let's open.
Awesome. Let's dive in.
I guess you got Pro Tools open over here.
Yeah. So let me jump into this real quick. So I'm
and we got to hear you play something too.
Yeah. I'll jump into
your sound design.
Play some keys. So I grew up on, my family's from the islands. So my parents are from Jamaica.
Okay, awesome.
So they were born in Jamaica, raised in England, and then they moved over to the States.
Wow.
But with that background, a lot of Caribbean people, we love Southern gospel music, believe it or not.
Really?
So I grew up on Southern gospel.
The harmonies locked in too,
Yeah, so
right?
like all those hymns and traditional songs,
yes.
like I know that stuff like the back of my hand because I grew up on that. And a lot of Caribbean people love like Southern gospel and hymns.
Awesome, man.
So yeah, whatever I'll play today, it'll most likely be like a hymn.
I love it, man. I'm all for it.
Yeah, so let me
And we had Christian Diaz talk about Latin multitracks
Okay.
not too long ago, and
Nice.
he did a Latin remix of What a Beautiful Name, but he also did a full Latin remix of Praise, and the drum parts opens up with boom, ba-dum, boom, ba-dum, boom, da-ga-dum, dun. It kind of sounds like a don't ga don't ga don't.
Yeah, like a calypso beat. Mm-hmm.
Yep. So he just made a full Latin remix of Praise where he just went absolutely wild. Like, I gotta show you the arrangement later.
Oh yeah, I gotta check that out.
It's absolutely fire. It's so good. Ooh, da-da-da-da-dun-dun. I like that. Good hit there. Get up.
Yeah, right. Right, literally, you can layer anything with this song.
Yes.
Create like a little medley.
Let's sing this together. You know it, come on.
So you hear the simplicity, but we're really pulling on those like Caribbean vibes.
Absolutely.
Build it up with hits. So yeah, I could just, man. So that's Sing Praise. I can talk through some of like my approach to like producing and like what I was hearing.
Absolutely,
so
tell us, man.
The cool thing with this song is that our team, our worship pastor, Pastor Courtney, and her sister Channing, we went to our chapel and wrote the song within 3 hours.
Wow.
So
Quick.
it was really quick. The ideas just came so fast, and the cool thing is that we sang it that Sunday for the first time. So we wrote the song that week, early in that week, and we were able to put together some quick stems and just have like a basic idea that we were able to I want to say workshop, where we were able to just like show our church, the bare bones of a brand new song, and our church just loved it. The church just loved it. And so my approach to producing is I like to approach it in a simple way where the champion of the song is always going to be the lyrical content. So I always use that approach. So I don't like to cloud up what I'm doing with a bunch of synths or sound design, and all that stuff is great and it's necessary, but I think it's more important the placement of it and kind of choosing your spots and choosing your areas where you want to put those ear candy.
Right.
So but always when it comes to any style of music, but specifically music that has singing and lyrical content, and in our context worship music, the lyrics are the champions. Absolutely. So you don't want to cloud that up. So my approach to that is what's the rhythm, like what type of drum pattern or beat, we're gonna go with. And I usually just take I also play drums. That's my first instrument, so I'll just do like some MIDI drums on my keyboard, and just kind of map out a basic idea, layer it with some type of percussive loop.
Yeah.
Just to keep that pulse going.
Right.
So for this song, it's definitely giving like a Caribbean vibes and like a calypso vibe.
Yes, yeah.
So I wanted to free up our drummer to kind of play around that too. So I made sure like the loop. Let me pull up a loop real quick. I make sure like our percussive loop is prominent, and it frees up our drummer to kind of like add more kind of nuance and other patterns on top of that, while still staying true to that like calypso feel. So let me jump over here to our perk over here. Let me solo the perk. Okay, let's open that up. I don't have too much going on here, but I'll show you from here.
Yeah.
I'm just keeping that loop going. And it doesn't necessarily have to be that same type of loop throughout the entire song. So that's the other thing, is just being intentional with my different sections of the song. So I break up every section of the song should have something that either lifts the song or breaks it down. So as you just heard that loop, you heard more like shakers and like an actual drum, like a kick drum, like a pattern going there. Right. When it came down to like a softer section in the song, I brought a lot of that out, and it was just shakers. So even though that's kind of like minimal things, it still matters like on the overall scheme of the mix when it comes down to mixing and bringing everything in. Nice. So I've learned that throughout the years. Before, when I used to produce, I would just throw a ton of stuff in. I'm like, oh, that sounds cool, and just keep layering things.
Yeah.
At that point, you can't. It's like, I don't claim to be like a chef or anything, but like when it comes to like cooking or baking, if you're throwing all these ingredients in, and if it's too much, you're taking the whole. You can't even taste like you can't really enjoy the cake or the final product. So
yes,
a little bit matters, and a little, I call it ingredients is here too. So like we're adding a little bit of like these different like elements of the song, like your shakers, and just being mindful of your placements of every single track. Totally. And also what's helped me with this, kind of a cheat code, but with multitracks, I study that, and I think like the producers, because you kind of, if you're getting multitracks, you can download and you see all the stems. So as a producer coming up, you can just study that and just look at how are these producers building tracks, because that's the cheat code. It's right in front of you. Absolutely. So you're seeing gang vocals, you're seeing BGVs, you'll see some individual stem vocals. Yep. You'll see how the keys are separated. There'll be like, sometimes in multitracks there are like multiple keys. They're like one piano and then the second piano, and there's different pianos.
Squash piano,
yeah.
Bells, yeah.
So that's kind of been my cheat code too, into like producing, being really intentional how I'm approaching every song, and separating the guitars out and having different, not having the guitar play like throughout the entire song, but he can just play for this one section, and that's it for guitar 1. Guitar 2 is handling something else. Absolutely. Handling strumming. So guitar 3 is just giving some colors and just giving some ambient sounds. Right. So, and I learned all that through just like literally just looking at multitracks, because I'm having to set it up every week, Sure. So I'm like, hey, let me just approach this and just look at it a little differently and just see what I can learn from this. So, that's something that musicians and, producers, future producers can take away from that. Just kind of study stems and just look at it and see like, kind of deconstruct it and kind of dissect it and say, hey, how are these guys actually building these songs that we love and that we play every week?
100%.
So that's kind of my approach now, is just looking at it and just seeing what's necessary.
How many keys tracks do you have?
Keys, oh my goodness, I have a ton of key stuff in here. Let's see. Let's go to keys. I have my main piano. I have an organ on here, and
did you mic up the real B3 on the stage?
Yeah, so I did it in post though. So for that particular recording, it was just me on main keys, and I had some stems that we built before we released the song. So but the stems were mainly just like synth brass and just other colors and stuff and aux stuff. Yeah. But as far as like my main keys, that's live. I have that piano. I post-recorded the Hammond B3, and that's mic'd up. So we have 3 mics on that. So kind of like a stereo image, and then like a bottom mic for the bass.
The bass, yeah.
Yeah. So what other key sounds I have? I have some bells on here, like a lot of the sounds I'm using are from Omnisphere, like some of my bells and.
You see that Omnisphere 3?
I saw 3s coming. I'm so interested in that.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I saw 3s coming, so I most likely will get that pretty soon. But I use Omnisphere for pretty much everything I do.
Absolutely.
So Omnisphere, and then also I use Keyscape for my pianos. And another thing that it's a good healthy practice for, especially if you record music at your church, make it a practice or a habit to MIDI record your keys, your main keys.
Totally.
So I've been doing that, and it's been really helpful, especially when it comes to like post-production work, when I want to go back in and just fix certain things, because no one's perfect. I'm gonna miss notes.
Yeah, totally.
You know, I'm not gonna be like super quantized, and my time is not gonna be perfect all the time.
Totally.
So if you're just having, like, whether it's Logic or whatever DAW you have running in the background for your recordings, or even for Sunday mornings, just in the background, you have your laptop opened up, open up Logic, just start recording your MIDI.
Totally.
You know, you can always go back to it, change up your sounds, 100%. Run it back through the Nord or whatever keyboard you're using, and then you got something to work with, you know.
Exactly.
So I'm doing that. That's like a new practice that I'm doing, is just, you know, recording my MIDI.
Now, you know, Ableton allows you to send an actual audio file and convert that to MIDI.
I didn't know that. That's
Have you
sick.
done that?
No, that's sick. Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
That's really cool.
Now, it's not as good if you have a bunch of layers and patches. It's not as good. It's better when it's like a true piano, and then when it's slower and it's not as crazy or busy. Obviously, it's not perfect, but it has a functionality. If any of you guys use it, let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely functionality. There was a bad recording on YouTube of something I had to play at a wedding before the ceremony started, and it was this awful recording. And the bride really wanted this particular thing. I probably could have just like replayed it, but the effort of just downloading it. But you go to Ableton, drag that file in, make it MIDI, then just choose a different. Like the performance was not bad. It was the sound, the way that it sounded was bad. It was like ding 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 sounding, and we needed it to sound like an actual good piano. You know, you could just take that file and create it too. Anyway, just in case you didn't happen to record MIDI, you could do that workaround on Ableton, but not guaranteed to get everything, all the notes in.
Right.
Anyway, keep it going.
No, that's so cool.
Isn't that neat?
Really cool.
I love the guitars, man.
Yeah, we have some incredible guitar players. Shout out to Austin and Brennan. Those are our guitar players at Calvary. Might as well shout out my whole team.
Yeah.
Shout out, guys. Steve's our drummer. Ricardo's our bass player. Tom plays acoustic. Jonathan, on this record, Jonathan played acoustic. And then me, of course, on keys. But we have an incredible team. You know, guys, they can play literally anything.
So good, man.
So we're always on our toes at Calvary, because our pastor also sings, our apostle sings.
Love it.
So he can go into any song. We just have to.
Gotta be ready.
We gotta be ready. You know. So.
Our guitars, were they stereo in or were they mono in?
They're stereo in.
Okay. Okay. Although they were kind of hard panned.
So I do that in post. Like, I'll hard pan them just to, you know, to separate them.
That sounded so good.
Yeah. So it really helps, you know, with the stereo image too. Not to get too technical, but like, you only have.
Take us there, man. You
only have 2 ears. So when you're
right.
mixing stereo, so everyone is fighting for that, you know, that real estate in your ears. So, you know, being able to not clog up the center, and like I said earlier, like the most important thing, in my opinion, with songs, especially that has like lyrical content, is the vocal.
Yeah.
So the center, who owns the center, is the vocalist. Like,
Absolutely.
so you don't want to cloud up the center. So with guitars and with everything else, I try to, like, you know, give them some separation. Guitars.
Absolutely.
Even with my drums, I'll pan the drums, and especially because we're releasing music videos as well. So I'll pan the drum toms like in the view of the audience.
The audience, okay.
So you'll see that it's just the little things that you'll notice. but yeah, you'll hear it being represented as if you're like looking at the drummer from
Love
the
that.
audience perspective.
Yeah, I got you.
So, but yeah, in keys the same way too. Like if there's a particular synth sound or a synth lead or bells, typically I would just keep it stereo, like left and right. But if you want to just take advantage of the whole stereo spectrum and leave space and just like approach it where everyone needs their own little space,
Totally.
pan that bell to the left a little bit or to the right.
Right.
Pan that synth lead, that lead that you want to stick out, that's being featured in the interlude.
Totally.
Pan it a little bit, and just simple things, simple like little audio tips would really help clean up a mix.
Absolutely.
Like that. So I've learned that throughout the years, and just
Those things are huge.
yeah, it makes a difference. It definitely makes a difference, just being able to be intentional with your pan and be intentional with your automation and volume, and I do a lot of subtractive EQing.
There you go.
So that's kind of been my approach, even when it comes to mixing too. Like my first thing I'll do when I mix a record, one would just listen to it. Just listen to the raw audio, listen to how it sounds, and don't just dive in and start, going to my favorite plugins.
Right.
Just, take some time just to listen to it twice. Listen to it loud and listen to it soft, and then start to kind of listen for like some of those areas where like, oh, okay, that wasn't tracked too well. How can I fix that?
Yes.
Rather than just going to like whatever the latest hottest plugin is, let me throw it on there.
Right.
And all those things, they have their places, but the most important thing when it comes to production and like post mixing is making sure the source was great. So we always start at the source, and so that goes back into like when I talked earlier about giving our front of house and our broadcasts like separate audio tracks for like all my sounds I'm putting out there. It may seem like there's a lot, man, like 4 audio tracks for keys, but it makes sense in the long run because it gives them the flexibility to mix things to their liking, and for the house, because you're going to mix differently for a house that you would mix for someone who's watching online.
Absolutely.
We may not want my strings to be that loud online, but in the house it feels good because it fills up the room.
Right.
So if I had all of that together in just a 2-track, that'd be challenging because I have my piano and my strings. But
yes,
the fact that we were able to separate everything out, I know they really appreciate that, and they're able to boost some of my strings on the low end in the house a little bit more.
Yes.
So all that stuff plays into it, man. So
are you guys stereo in the actual live room, or are you guys mono?
Yeah, we're
Okay,
stereo. In our house, it's true stereo. And then online has been great. Like we do remote mixing. So we have a company. I'm doing all these shout outs.
Wow.
My family at AudioLink. Those are my guys.
Okay.
So we've been using AudioLink for about 2 years now, and these guys
They crazy
are
good.
incredible. Like,
Are they mixing in Pro Tools? Y'all just send it remotely?
They're mixing in Pro Tools, and they're like kind of what I'm doing now, remoting into my my office. So they remote in every service. They remote into our computer, and they mix live.
Wow.
So they mix our online broadcasts, and they've been killing it, man.
Okay, I did not know this was a thing.
It's a thing.
Okay, I mean, obviously I knew about remotely controlling a computer, but there's a company that remotely mixes your live stream.
It's pretty crazy. And
what?
Then, so they
Tell us more.
they do our live stream, but they also do front of house.
Okay.
They can mix your front of house
remotely.
There's plenty of churches that they mix front of house. We may be going
How,
into that.
How?
It's pretty wild. It's I don't even know how to
What?
describe like all the ins and outs of it. I understand it, but it's pretty wild.
What
how
if I
they do
told you that they actually are not humans and it's AI on the other side doing the whole thing?
They are humans, and
It's
they're
actually being mixed from your glasses
right
now.
literally. Yeah,
What
10
in the
years from now,
world?
that's gonna be the thing. But yeah, these guys, they're incredible.
Where are okay,
They're based out of Texas.
Okay. They hire other people just wherever.
They have
and
other
they can just mix wherever.
They have other sound engineers. Part of their
What?
staff. They have sound engineers that will mix. So we have a specific engineer for our church that mixes for us, and consistently every week we have someone that mixes our online broadcast, and we're able to communicate with them through Slack. That's our way of communicating with the app Slack, and we right now it's dialed in, but like when we first started, we were able to like communicate like some of the things that we want to hear more of, and just kind of critique and give them notes on what we want.
Yeah.
But bro, for the most part, it's been an incredible experience, and it still is. We use them for everything.
Wow.
All of our services, all of our conferences.
Have you guys ever had any issues with the networking or connection or?
No, and that's a funny thing that gets brought up because like, well, it's remote, so what if the internet goes down? Well, if the internet goes down, YouTube goes down.
The live stream,
everything goes down.
thing.
So, and it hasn't gone down. We've been live streaming ever since I've been at Calvary. So that's kind of like the least of our worries. But in the event that there was something that was to go down, either on our end in the studio or even on their end, they have some fail safes. They have all these processes where they even have someone that monitors, like a particular church's broadcast if something was to happen. So they have it dialed in, man. They have it. It's pretty crazy.
That's amazing.
I love it, man. And I get geeked out about it because I have an audio background.
Yes,
so
yes.
when we brought him on to mix for our church, I was just like, man, this is incredible.
That is amazing. Is it a monthly subscription or yearly thing? Okay,
it's a monthly subscription we have. It's
How
a
much?
subscription.
Like, what's the range? What's the range for people? If you don't mind sharing, do you know?
I don't know off the top of my head, but
okay.
I'll put it like this: it's affordable.
Okay.
It's definitely affordable, and you're getting, the saying, you get what you pay for.
Right.
In a good way, you're getting what you paid for. You're paying for quality.
Yeah.
And then you're getting stability. You're getting good quality. So, and you're getting consistency.
That's good.
So, and that's what every church needs,
Right.
And you're getting that at a high level, and you're getting it from an industry professional. So,
wow.
it's definitely worth it. I highly, highly recommend it.
What's the name again?
Audio Link.
Audio Link.
Okay. Check them out. Audio Link.
Audio Movers and then Audio Link.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Shout out Tom and Brandon. Love you guys.
Man, that's so cool. I've never heard of but obviously they're probably doing really well and helping churches.
Yes.
Nationally and probably internationally too,
yes.
right?
Yeah, they're killing it. Definitely look them up. They're out of Texas. They're from actually Upper Room. So
okay, love it.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Great guys though. But yeah, so
cool.
So that's literally like how we've been running things. Like I said earlier, like every Sunday is literally a live recording. So
are you guys audio over IP there? Are you guys Dante?
We're doing Dante, yep.
Okay, love it, man.
Dante, like everywhere. Dante front of house, monitor world, and then in the studio.
Amazing. Are you like hardware out of your interfaces for MIDI stuff? Are you still Dante? Are you doing Dante?
I'm actually Dante for my stems.
Really?
So we switched to we switched to Dante,
and
bro.
Had a North Stage 4. My goodness.
We switched to
Lord is blessing
Dante.
y'all.
Yeah, man, God's been good. But we switched to Dante. I would say probably like maybe 2 or 3 years ago, running stems through Dante.
Okay.
Prior to that, I had like a Scarlett, a Focusrite. It got the job done, but I was still limited with my outputs, as you know, with some of these interfaces, the outputs, you can be limited to like 8 or 10 or whatever.
Right.
With this, I'm sending these guys like 20 tracks of stems. I'm sending them everything, which is incredible for us. Like, so for posts, we have all that flexibility, but even in the room, front of house has that flexibility, just like how I gave them flexibility in options with multiple keys channels. We're doing the same thing with stems.
Incredible.
So, and the good thing is, even for rehearsal purposes, it helps me and my team out. Like, say if I didn't have a bass player for a rehearsal, or, I can literally put that bass stem through the bass channel, instead of like the stems channel, I can just, we can have them routed through the bass channel as its own thing. And it feels live, feels like real bass. We do that with everything that we're sending out through our stems. We can send them back in on those channels for our live channel, our live instrument channels.
Love it, man.
Yeah, man. So it's great, man. Like, we obviously, like every church, you talk to any musician, any tech director, everyone's looking for the next big thing, but like we're just so grateful for what we have, and we're doing our best to like steward what we have.
Love that, man.
So
that's incredible. Very high tech and very good.
Yeah,
very smooth. I love it. Sounding really good.
Yeah, man.
Let's talk about the chord progressions for a minute, because I'll see if my ear is correct, but a lot of it was praise was like 1 4.
So I'll play real quick. Yeah, keys going. So on the ones, we're in the key of C's in praise. I'll call it numbers 2 minor in praise. 6 sing praise to the Lord, for He is worthy. So I'm hitting 5 in the bass and over the C. instead of going back to the one, we just wanted to do something different. Like sometimes you would hear
Yes,
that
I
type
love
of
that. I love
progression.
that.
You'll just start over, sing praise and praise, sing praise to the Lord, for He is worthy. Praise. Instead of starting back at that one, just go to that 5.
That lifts it, man.
It lifts it,
It's
right?
like, woo!
6, sing praise to the Lord, and then everybody likes a fun line. For He is worthy.
Yes.
So,
What about going like that 1/5
mhm.
down to the 2, right? It can also
Mhm.
lift it. But that's what you were doing anyway. But 5, 4. Oh man, I love when he goes to the 1/5 or just hangs on that 4.
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
It's just.
And when we break down the song, like I'll play it by myself. If we're going to transition to a worship moment.
Play for us, man. Come on. Yes, get that minor in there. Yes, bro. Come on now. Now I love that. That song is super fun. When does it release?
So we're releasing it November 14th.
Amazing.
So right before Thanksgiving. And it's intentional because, like I said, we feel like we've been commissioned to release songs of joy and freedom. So right into the holiday season. It can get dark for a lot of people during the holidays.
Absolutely.
But we feel like in this season that God has commissioned us to release high praise.
So
You know, the joy of the Lord is our strength. So we're not like leaning on our own strength. So we're leaning on the strength of the Lord, and He's going to give us that joy. So
Come on,
that's
man.
what this song is, man.
I
Yeah.
love that so much. Okay, so moving into more production stuff,
Yeah.
let's talk about sound design for a little bit.
Sure.
And we are running out of time on this first series, this first episode with you, Dubb.
Mm-hmm.
But we are going to have another episode next week all about mentorship and developing musicians, discipleship within the worship team.
Yeah.
Just getting your thoughts on that. We got to know, what sounds are you using? What is inspiring to you now? What are you using, man?
Well, I love Omnisphere. I'm using that.
That's right. That's right.
So doing a lot of Omnisphere, doing a lot of Keyscape. I'll use some of the stock sounds from Logic, believe it or not.
Really? Oh yeah.
Yeah, don't
you just like
sleep.
the Yamaha or the Steinway or the.
Well, not just for piano, but just
Okay.
some of like their synth stuff and like
They do
sound
have
design
good stuff, man.
Yeah, there's some stuff in there.
They
So
do.
yeah, don't forget about Logic and those pre-stock sounds.
Yes.
I use sounds from gospel producers.
Yeah, man.
A buddy of mine, David Ouden. He has a plugin. I believe it's called Juice.
Okay.
I think it's called Juice, but it is incredible. It's like
You want to show us?
yeah. Let's pull up Juice really quick.
Let's do it, man.
But it is.
Is it
call
it's a synth?
It's a
or-
synth.
Okay.
But I call
Sounds
it
like
like
it would
my.
be a synth.
It's like my Swiss Army knife.
Okay,
Like,
okay.
It has everything you need, all built into one plug. So
what's up.
he partnered with gospel producers, and they released this a couple years ago. But I literally use this on everything.
Man.
Gospel producers, Juice. Yep. There it is, called Juice. So has
Looks
a lot-
red, so it's got to be good.
Yeah.
Red like the Nord.
Let me pull it up. Let's see. Let's pull some sounds.
Bow, bow, Dubb.
Right? It's funny. So let me pull up some, like even like drums and bass.
Oh, sweet.
So if you do any type of like drum programming, like hip hop stuff, like there's drums in here, drum kits.
Way down
They hit
there.
hard, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
They sound great. Some epic piano. Sound good.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah,
some
yeah.
pianos in here. So yeah, so I use Juice literally for everything. It's like my go-to for like synth sounds. They have some really great sounds on here. A lot of the sounds that you will hear on Sing Praise, my transitional sounds, like my little synth sound, my lead synth. It's a nice little synth
Woo!
lead. All those
on.
kind of those stab sounds. Sometimes it's hard to find these sounds on like some of the keyboards that are out now, but having a plugin that just has it right there in front of you,
Totally,
it's
totally.
It's great.
I love
So,
that. Do you have that within Ableton, I guess, too, as well when you're live?
Yeah. So when I'm live, I'll throw it into Ableton. And like I said, I'm using Warren's templates, so I can just replace some of those sounds with Juice. Such a cool name, actually.
yeah, totally, man.
Yeah. But yeah, that's those are my go-tos right now, man. Just using, I just got the Nord Stage 4, so I'm trying to lean into that a little bit more, just using that as my main piano sounds. And
what are you using for pads?
As far as pads, I'm using
or do you use pads? You don't have to use pads.
I do use pads. I have like a built-in pad that I wish I had the board on me right now, but I have a pad that I have on my Stage 4. But also, as far as drones, I'm using drones from Playback. Believe it or not.
Okay.
I just bought a ton of drones from Playback, and I just use that. I have like a little MIDI keyboard. It's like a little 25 key keyboard, and I trigger like all my drone keys. It's specifically it's from that.
Okay.
So I just hit it whenever I'm going to, and it helps me
transition.
transitions.
You got about 30 keyboards.
I have a lot going on, man. I have a lot going on. It's all intentional though. So like I told you earlier,
Get
like
one keyboard for every patch. Or
right.
something.
Everything for me, even though I love tech stuff, like it has to have a serve a purpose. So it's not just to have a bunch of stuff. 100%. So even though I have that little keyboard, like its sole purpose is to run all my drone sounds.
Yeah.
So
I love that.
Yeah, man.
I think it's important for people to hear that, because everything we do must be purposeful. Any last words to producers out there, especially specifically in churches that want to get started, or any red flags, any mistakes, any things that you've learned along the way that you could save some time for people?
Yeah, I would and kind of piggyback on what you said about getting into rut of like comparison, and that even applies to like producers. And growing up, a lot of guys would I would hear a lot of guys, and I would even talk about, what's the best DAW? What's the best? Is it Pro Tools versus Logic versus Nuendo versus? And I heard, a well-respected producer and composer. He said, the best DAW is the one that you're the best at.
Yeah.
So, and that encouraged me not to get so caught up on like what I'm using or what's the latest tech there. Is like, am I putting the work into learning this gear?
Totally.
And am I just diving into it and learning, and does it work for me?
Absolutely.
And if it's good, if it works for me, then, rock with it, be great at it.
Totally.
But don't go into that mode of just comparison and, just trying to see like what's the hottest thing, what's the next best thing. Totally. It's good to be current and stay on top of like what's good out there.
Right.
But not getting into the rut of that comparison, or just saying like what's better than this or who's better than that. Like, it's time consuming and it's not productive.
Absolutely.
So I would encourage like producers to just keep that in the forefront of their mind.
Love
There's somebody I know that out of Nashville is an incredible producer, and my friend he works in Nuendo, Cubase. Really? That's his jam. And he's like, bro, I will take session. He's a well-known producer. If I say his name, you guys would know him. He's well-known in Nashville, and he uses that. He was like, bro, I will get a session in Pro Tools, dump everything out, and put it into a Nuendo, because he's like, I'm comfortable. Like I move quick. I know what I'm doing. And I was like, bro, if it works for you, like the client doesn't care. They just want to make sure like their stuff sounds good, man. So don't get caught up into that,
I love it.
So
that's good. It's kind of like when you're talking about Bible translations, like what Bible translation should I read now? And there's so many,
it's so
and
funny,
they are all pretty much good. Maybe there are a few that people will swear by that you should never read or something. There's some translations maybe that people should steer away from. But for the most part, it's like, what translation should I read? Well, it should be the Bible translation that you can actually want to read, like that you can really connect with and understand. It's like, who cares, NIV, ESV, Passion, whatever, like whatever kind of connects with what you're, wanting to read and whatever you have access to, like that's probably what you should read.
That's such a good point, man, because I was literally thinking about that the other day, because I kind of got caught up into that. I'm like, man, which version should I be reading? Sometimes you feel a little bit more spiritual because you read NIV or King James or New King James or the Amplified.
Right.
But I'm like, and I believe it was the Holy Spirit that spoke to me. He was like, this wasn't even written in your original, the original language.
Right.
It wasn't even in English. So
Totally.
why are you getting caught up on this? Like, do you understand what you're reading?
Right.
That's
right.
what matters. Is this process saying, like,
yes,
find
is this
that version?
moving your heart,
Yes.
in your heart?
Yeah,
Yes.
so find that, because at the end of the day, this wasn't even written in English. The
Right,
Bible wasn't written
totally.
in English, so let's not get caught up on like different versions. So
100%.
Yeah. It was cool that you brought that up. That's so funny. I was literally just thinking about that.
Which version did you?
So I'm like in between three. Like if I'm doing study, and
Okay.
I'll do amplified.
Okay.
If I'm just casually reading, I'll do contemporary. I'll do the contemporary version. And I will just go back and forth and just reference them,
Okay.
because I'll just do it on my smartphone or my iPad. But my Bible at home, my study Bible, is ESV.
Dude,
I love
great
ESV.
stuff.
Yeah, but it's great, man. Like I really felt that was the Lord just, encouraging me and telling me, like, hey, don't get caught up on make sure you're reading. That's the whole
Yes.
point.
Yes.
Read.
Yeah, just read
Make
my
sure
word.
you read the word. Make
That-
sure you're doing that.
That is more important. So you kind of treat your Bibles like you treat your keyboards, right?
Ah,
Just different times, different functions.
yeah, different functions. Yeah, man. Yeah, they're everywhere.
Yeah, I love
I got a
it.
Bible everywhere.
Uh-huh.
All my devices, and then my study Bible at home. But
Exactly.
It's important that you're actually reading.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Yeah, applying the word. Mm-hmm.
Well, if you're watching on YouTube and you made it to this far into the episode, and maybe you didn't, but if you did, let us know what Bible translation you are reading right now. Maybe you're reading multiple for different purposes. ESV at home, Amplified for this, the Message for this, whatever. And if you have any strong opinions, let us know as well. But also, if you have any questions on production in general, DAWs, how to get started, let us know in the comments too. We're happy to help you if we can. We'd love to see them. Also, you can email me, Carson@theworshipkeys.com. I'm definitely going to link the audio link
Please do.
because that is cool.
Audio link.
I want people to be able to utilize that if they need to, because so many churches are like, I need help mixing. And it's like some of them even, they do have a budget, but they don't have that person who can do it.
Yes.
And this is a great solution for that.
They are incredible. Please take it from me. We use them every week. You can go online and watch any of our services, because we keep our worship up as well. So you just Calvary FL on YouTube, go to live. You'll see it. But they're great.
Well, guys, Jonathan Wolliston on the Worship Keys podcast, Dubb, as he's known for. Thank you for being on the Worship Keys.
Thank you for having me, man.
Thank you for sharing some production tips, playing a little bit for us. Excited for this new EP, the new single, the new music coming out.
Yeah.
Incredible,
Yeah.
incredible. Well, next week we're going to be talking more about mentorship within your music ministry. You are working on a book
Yes.
about kingdom-minded musicians,
Yeah.
and your title's going to be something along those lines, I
Yeah.
hear.
Yeah.
So what does it mean to be a kingdom-minded musician? What does it mean to be a disciple maker, a disciple of Jesus, a follower of Jesus? Even within our music ministry, we get so tied up in what we're doing.
Yeah.
You hit on something earlier in the podcast too, and we are wrapping up. I felt like a preacher. We're concluding. We're going to get out of here.
It's my third closing.
yeah. But you mentioned how a lot of times as musicians, it's hard to get connected and plugged in to the church. And when I was eating with Max earlier, Max Whiting, we filmed an episode, and he was talking about how not so many times, but one time he did see a keys player literally at the end of the worship set at church, like unplug, and then bzz, it wasn't even muted yet from the console, unplugged, and just took the whole keyboard and stand and walked off the stage, loaded up in his car, and headed to the next church.
Yeah. That's crazy.
That's crazy. I've never witnessed that, but I know
Yeah.
people obviously you can do multiple gigs in one day. But if you have to take your whole keyboard off the stage in order
that's
to
pretty
get to
wild.
the next service, that's pretty intense.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
got to do what you got to do, I guess, as a gigging musician. But for the health of who you are as a person and holistically, you got to be plugged into a church.
Absolutely. You need that. You
So
definitely
we'll
need
talk more about that next week. But thanks again for sticking around, and we'll see you next week.
that. Alrighty.